Welcome! In this lecture, we're going to focus on two often overlooked areas of writing: punctuation and sentence clarity. Even if your ideas and vocabulary are strong, unclear sentences or incorrect punctuation can make your writing difficult to understand, which could lower your IELTS score. Today, I'll show you how to use punctuation to enhance readability and how to create clear, concise sentences. Let's get started. First, let's talk about the role punctuation plays in making your writing easier to read. Think of punctuation as the traffic signals of writing. They guide the reader through your ideas and ensure that your meaning is clear. Misusing punctuation or not using it enough can leave your reader confused. For example, consider this sentence. Although students benefit from online learning, they miss the social interaction of a physical classroom. This is how the examiner will read the sentence. Without the comma after learning, it's hard to follow the sentence. Correctly punctuated, it would read, although students benefit from online learning, they miss the social interaction of a physical classroom. The comma here acts like a pause, signaling the end of the dependent clause and the start of the main point. One of the most common punctuation errors is the comma splice. This happens when you use a comma to connect two independent clauses without a conjunction. Here's an example. The company expanded rapidly, its profits grew. We have a comma as a punctuation, which makes the pause between these two main points a little too short. The correct version would be the company expanded rapidly and its profits grew. Or we have a semicolon, the company expanded rapidly, its profits grew. In the incorrect version, the two ideas are crammed together without proper punctuation. You can fix it by adding a conjunction like and or using a semicolon. Now let's talk about semicolons and colons, which are powerful tools when used correctly. Semicolons are often misunderstood, but they are very useful when connecting two closely related ideas. Here's an example. The weather was perfect. We decided to go for a hike. The semicolon shows that these two sentences are closely related in meaning. It's stronger than a comma, but less abrupt than a period. Colons, on the other hand, are great for introducing explanations or lists. For example, there are three main reasons why students succeed: motivation, discipline, and support. The colon introduces a list that explains what comes before it. Learning when to use semicolons and colons correctly can elevate the sophistication of your writing. One important tip: don't overuse punctuation, especially semicolons and colons. It's tempting to use them often to sound formal, but overuse can disrupt the flow of your writing. For example, using too many commas in one sentence can make it clunky. This sentence feels choppy because of the excess commas. Instead, simplify the sentence by removing unnecessary pauses. This version flows more naturally and it's easier to follow. Now that we've covered punctuation, let's talk about sentence clarity. The key to clear writing is simplicity. You don't need overly complex sentences to impress the examiner. In fact, clarity is more important than complexity. Here's an example of an overly complicated sentence. Despite the fact that the government has implemented several policies aimed at reducing environmental damage, it remains a significant issue due to the fact that many companies continue to use outdated practices. This sentence can be shortened and clarified. Although the government has implemented policies to reduce environmental damage, many companies continue using outdated practices, so the problem persists. By cutting unnecessary words like due to the fact that and using clear transitions, you make your sentence easier to understand while maintaining its meaning. Another important aspect of sentence clarity is choosing between active and passive voice. While both are acceptable in IELTS writing, active voice is generally clearer and more direct. For example, the government built new roads to ease traffic congestion. It's in active voice and is much clearer than new roads were built by the government to ease traffic congestion, which is in passive voice. In most cases, active voice makes your writing more straightforward and engaging, so aim to use it when possible. However, there are situations where passive voice is appropriate, especially when the focus is on the action rather than the doer. For example, in task 1, when describing a process or changes over time, you might write, "The data was collected over 5 years," which emphasizes the action, data collection, rather than who did it. Don't be afraid to use short sentences to make an impact. Short sentences can emphasize key points and break up longer, more complex sentences, giving your writing variety and rhythm. For example, in an essay about climate change, you may write something like: The effects of climate change are devastating. Sea levels are rising and extreme weather events are becoming more frequent. The second sentence is short, but it drives home the urgency of the issue, making it more memorable. A common mistake to avoid is sentence fragments, sentences that are incomplete. Here's an example of a fragment. Because of the increase in urbanization. This sentence doesn't explain what happens because of urbanization. To fix it, complete the thought. Because of the increase in urbanization, more people are moving to cities, leading to housing shortages. By ensuring each sentence is complete, you will avoid confusion and make your writing stronger. To master punctuation and sentence clarity, let's do some exercises. Comma placement exercise. Take a paragraph from your own writing or a sample IELTS essay and insert commas where necessary. Read it aloud. Every time you pause naturally, check if a comma should go there. Sentence simplification. Find the longest sentence in your writing and break it into 2 or 3 simpler sentences without losing meaning. Fixing sentence fragments. Identify sentence fragments in a sample essay and turn them into complete sentences. Semicolon and colon practice. Write 3 sentences using a semicolon to connect related ideas and 3 using a colon to introduce lists or explanations. Finally, let's look at how to apply these techniques in your essay. Here's an example of a paragraph that could be improved with better punctuation and sentence clarity. This is a comma splice and a long sentence with multiple ideas. Let's fix it. By breaking the sentence into 2, adding a full stop, and fixing the punctuation, we've made it clearer and easier to read. Mastering punctuation and sentence clarity is about making your writing easier to understand and more pleasant to read. These are small changes, but they can make a big difference in your IELTS score. Keep practicing with the exercises we discussed, and you'll soon notice a big improvement in your writing. In the next lecture, we'll talk about time management strategies for the IELTS writing section. See you there.